Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another live session with Aussizz Group. Today, we have a very special guest with us. Today, we have Jarna from Macquarie University, who is Senior Country Manager who's based in Sydney. Welcome, Jarna, to our live session.
Thank you, Priyanka.
Thank you for making time out of your busy schedule. I know you have been hopping off from your meetings, so we really appreciate your time. So today we'll be starting off with how this COVID situation has really affected the international students. So we'll be talking about how international students are coping up with the online program, or how Macquarie as a university is helping these students cope up with the study and then perform.
Right. Thank you, Priyanka, and hello, everyone. You are right. We are in very unique situation right now of COVID-19, where a lot of plans and a lot of other study pattern has been disturbed. However, it's really good to see that Australian government has taken care of the situation so well that now we are going in we're going in descending mode of the COVID-19 in phases. So we're already in phase one right now. And so is at the university. Like the students who were in session one, they continued with their studies online because of social distancing and the campus being shut because of the rules and the rest. So what university has done is, and especially academics have played a really important role in that the entire model of learning was being moved online. So various platforms, very stable platforms like Zoom, StudyWise, Studiosity, Creative Clouds, Adobe. These are very strong online platforms which are being used to deliver the program online so that the students doesn't feel deprived of interactive learning pattern. They have to still keep discussing and doing what they were doing in the classroom with their peers and academics on regular basis as well. So that has been dealt with really, really well. So what happened, and we are almost finishing session one and going towards session two in July. So the academics and the associate dean of learning and teaching at the university, they went into a very detailed survey with current students, that if they are happy with the online learning and teaching method of the university. And 90% plus students did mention that they were very happy with the way the university has dealt with it, and the academics have delivered the program. So I'm sure it's going very, very well. And this is what we are hoping that will continue in session 2 2020 as well. So not only continuing students, even new international students who will accept the offer letter to study in July 2020, they cannot travel to Australia because international borders are shut. So till travel restriction is in place, they will be commencing their degree online. They will be using these strong platforms to start with their degree. It could be one subject or two subjects or full load of their degree. It's up to individual choice, but they will be using these platforms so that they can start with their degree, do not waste their time. And as soon as borders open, they can come onshore and then continue with their studies. Whereas the students who are already onshore and they are going into their maybe second degree option, or they are probably doing after undergraduation, they're going into post graduation, that is going to be simple for them because they're already onshore. So in session two, as I just mentioned, that Australian government have allowed us to open the campus in phases. So phase one was more for priority students, priority areas like research and labs and more practical oriented subjects being allowed. In phase two, probably we'll have more subjects and more lectures getting delivered on campus. So we'll have a combination of live lectures, which are in the classroom, and some of the live online, that is virtual lectures as well. So for students who are onshore, they'll have an advantage of attending some of the lectures at the campus in the classroom, and some will be virtually delivered as well. So it will be interesting times ahead.
So how about students showing up? Are they really so? Are you getting 100% of attendance? Because I understand how students are, that you have an opportunity to really be online. So sometimes they might just not be there. So are you finding any difficulties in tracking those kind of students as of this year?
In fact, that has been, dealt with by the academics really well. So some students are attending live lectures very regularly, like they do attend in the classroom. However, those who miss out the lectures, these lectures are anyways recorded and then stored on iLearn, which is our online platform, which is accessed by the students. So they can go back to those lectures and hear them whenever they want to. Because I also understand that many students are working part-time. So their working hours would be such that they sometimes miss out on online lectures, but they don't miss out studying that because those lectures are available on iLearn for them to refer to. So I think it's really good. But surprisingly, as I was just mentioning about the survey, which was been done by our learning and teaching team, and they said more than 90% of the students do attend the live lectures. And they also participate in the online interactive activities like peer discussions, academic discussions, and the rest. So it's going pretty well.
Well, these are lucky generations. I remember back in our time, we had to be in the class. If you miss the class, you're done. You
That's
cannot
right.
really go back and study. You have to always chase your teachers. So these are lucky people who can go back and always study. Anyways, thanks for that, Jarna. So now moving on to Macquarie University. Macquarie University is one of the top ranked university in Australia. And today we are going to discuss about major programs that are offered by Macquarie University. So I'll hand it over to you, Zarna, about the major courses that are offered by Macquarie University.
Yeah, sure, Priyanka. So, the university offers most of the programs that can be discussed, be it in undergraduate, postgraduate level, or research level as well. But the most popular ones to start with are business programs, of course. Under business, we offer, anything that you probably can name it, like actuaries, accounting, marketing degrees, international business, MBA, management degrees, whatever you want to study is offered at the university on all three levels of education you may prefer. The second option is, the second preference by the students is also IT, science, engineering programs, like a be 3 or 4 year undergraduate IT program or a 2 year master's program. The programs have been designed in a way which will give students a lot of opportunities to interact with the industry and a lot of opportunities to have some hands-on experience as well, be it in form of an internship or a project that they're working on or a capstone unit, anything. So these programs are very popular. Hackathons, that's very popular with the IT students on campus. They are popular programs. Then if we have to talk about medical programs, we of course have the Bachelor's of Clinical Sciences, Doctor of Medicine, which is a postgraduate medicine program at the university, or something in psychology, chiropractic, physiotherapy. These are very popular programs again. Though they are a bit lengthy program, but because of its very high demand in Australia right now in terms of job opportunities, international students do opt for these programs. So that they can get into a stable, job after they complete their degree as well. So very popular ones. Then if we look at something in creative ways, then Bachelor's of Arts, Bachelor's of Creative Writing, Masters of Creative Writing, Masters of Creative Industries, Masters of Media and Communication. These programs are very, very popular at the university. And then we also have, foundation programs for undergraduates who are not eligible directly into our undergrad programs. They can enter the university via foundation program like diploma or the Pathway Foundation program itself. So there are a lot of options that students can study. And the last but not the least, research programs. So in that, again, there are two options. Students who come with prior experience in research work or have done sort of thesis and publications and the rest, they can go into 3 years PhD program. So that will be their research degree completely. But those who are coming without any experience in research work, they can go for Masters of Research program, which is typically a 2 year program in which first year is advanced coursework and in second year they go into research, which is thesis writing and the rest. So there are both the options available for the students.
Right. So you've pretty much covered everything. So name it, whatever the student wants to study, Macquarie has something to offer to them, right?
That's
So
right.
we'll now touch base on few programs and talk about the entry requirements. So talking about undergrad degrees offered by Macquarie University, I understand that there are general academic requirements, but then does Macquarie University, being Macquarie University, has a higher entry requirement compared to any other university? We would want to talk about that once.
So, if we talk about undergraduate program, most of the degree requirement is between 65 to 95 percentage of range in the year 12 equivalent study that a student is pursuing. So that is pretty much average Australian standard, I would say, because of the you can say creativity or very high level education offered at the university. This is very regular requirement that we are asking for. But at postgraduate level, this varies a lot. So if you're going into a 1 year postgraduate program or a double degree program for 2 years, which is 1+1 year option available to the students, or you are going into a directly 2 year program, it varies a lot. It starts from 55-60% in undergraduation aggregate, and it probably ranges up to 70 or 75% sometimes as well. However, the major difference in that would be there are a couple of programs at postgraduate level where we need work experience after a student has completed their graduation, basic graduation. So, for example, an MBA would require 3 years of managerial work experience after graduation. Like Masters of Applied Finance program will need 2 years of professional work experience. And yeah, these are the two degrees where we need some sort of work experience to get into the program. But most of the other degrees are pretty much like a fresher degree. So any graduate can get into a postgraduate degree program. Same thing if we have to talk about research, very different or completely different, I would say, than postgraduate coursework program, because Masters of Research, if you are coming with just a general postgraduate degree without any research work experience, you will have to go in a 2 year degree program where first year is advanced coursework and second year where we train you to pursue research thesis. So Masters of Research is basically a pathway into PhD. After completing 2 years Masters of Research, they will be the student will be going into 3 year PhD program straight away, right? But if a student wants to get into the PhD program directly, they need to have some sort of research experience in their postgraduate degree. So like 50% of their master's degree should be research work, thesis, then they can apply for PhD programs. This is the basic standard entry requirement which any student will have to meet.
Right. Thank you, Jarna. How about the English requirements? So, for example, diploma, foundation, undergrad, and master's, and then research.
Sure. So for the pathway program like foundation and diploma, we normally ask for 6 bands in IELTS, which is an average score. And postgrad and undergraduate programs need a 6.5 overall IELTS band score with no subscore less than 6. This is a standard requirement for most of research programs also, but some of the postgraduate programs have special entry requirements. So there we need high, score in IELTS. So for example, if a student wants to get into the Doctor of Medicine program, then the IELTS requirement is 7 bands. MBA is 7 bands. So if there are specialized entry requirement, which will be separately mentioned, rest of the programs are standard 6.5.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So, Jarna, you mentioned something about dual degree. So, can every student get into this dual degree, or is there a special requirement for these kind of courses?
There is a special requirement, Priyanka. So a dual degree program is basically set of two different programs, two different 2 year or 1.5 year postgraduate programs being combined together to make it one 2 year degree program with the credits based on the background of a student. So if a student is coming from a cognitive degree, for example, a student applying for Masters of Marketing plus Masters of Management. So if a student has done Bachelor's of Commerce with Marketing as a major, which is a cognitive degree to get into Masters of Marketing plus Masters of Management, there are very high chances that a student will get straight away 1+1, that is a 2 year degree program. Now, the beauty of the dual degree program is that it the student gets to study for 2 years, they get two different degree certificates. So the student, when they graduate, he will get Masters of Marketing degree certificate and Masters of Management degree certificate, and they're still doing the entire program in 2 years. So that's beautiful thing about the dual degree program. And the percentage requirement for dual degree program is slightly high. We normally ask for between 60 to 65 percentage mark for entering into a dual degree program.
Right. So what else do they need? Like study for 2 years and get out with two different degrees. So that's
That's right.
something very beautiful about this course.
That's right. Two different degrees and two different skill set together.
Right.
So that is the beauty of the program.
So imagine how more employable these students would be compared to people who are coming out of only one degree. So yes, this is one of the most beautiful course of Macquarie University, that you can be eligible to do 2 degrees within 2 years and then get two completions letter after 2 years and then graduate with two different programs. So that's very interesting. So Zarna, we have received a very increased query about Masters of Business Research. Now, these are those kind of students who have already done masters, but because your master of research is designed in a way where they don't really, they can come and then study the coursework and learn how to do research, and then the second year move towards research program. So we want to talk more about that. So for example, anybody in any other university wants to apply for research program, what they do is write a proposal, send it to supervisor, and then they'll approve it. So basically the time duration becomes very long. So I just want to check with you, how does it work with Macquarie University?
That's a very good question, Priyanka. And there's a lot of confusion around the application process for the Masters of Research program as well. So, as I mentioned earlier, there are two entry points in Masters of Research program. One is where a student is applying for a 2-year program because they're coming from a background having no research work experience.
Right.
So, in that case, the student doesn't have to necessarily provide entire full scape a research proposal, but have to write a very short statement of purpose kind of research proposal. I won't even say it as a research proposal. It's
Yeah.
basically expression of interest, that what they want to pursue their research in. A pager would be fine with a regular application that they will be submitting online anyway. But a student who's applying for a second year entry having some sort of research work experience or a research degree, they will need to write a research proposal. So they will need to have a proper research proposal in terms of what are they proposing to the academics. This is because when an academic is going through the proposal and the documents of an applicant, they need to figure out whether the proposed topic of research by a student is available under him or her, a researcher at the university, I mean to say, and also if they have vacancy to take up that student as a research assistant in their group. So that is very important that they outline their research interests very well if they're looking into direct second year entry. But otherwise, as I just mentioned, it's very straightforward application process with just expression of interest, kind of statement of purpose, and rest of the documents to be submitted along with it.
Right. So it's just a normal statement of purpose where they'll just outline the area of research they're interested in doing, and then they can get into this program. So this is very interesting because most of the students step back of getting into research program just with the idea of writing research program, a research proposal, because it gets very intense, and then somewhere in middle they decide, oh, you know what, I'm not maybe suitable for this kind of course. So of course, people who are watching this video, if you want to do massive research program, Macquarie is one of the best option for you, because in that case, you will not really have to write a very lengthy research proposal. And it also makes sense for these people who have just come out of a master's degree, and getting into a real intense research program can be a little bit daunting. So it's structured in a way where in the first year they'll be taught how to do research and then later move on to research program. So it's nice, and then it's going to be easier for these students to graduate out of, because starting program is not only the thing they're looking at, they have to also exit. So what students need to be aware about, that yes, they want to study certain course, but then are they able to graduate or not? So they have to also understand the pace of the course, and then that's how Macquarie offers this research program. So Zarna, what is the cost we're looking at in terms of research program?
So most of the two-year research program will cost somewhere around 32 to 37,000 Australian dollar each year.
Mm.
So that's a standard tuition fee. However, university do offer certain scholarship to research students. Now, which scholarship they can apply for and what is the amount of this research scholarship will completely depend upon the research area that they have applied for and the supervisor who will be looking into the proposal as well. Because if I'm sure students who are looking into research areas, they know that each academic or each supervisor have their own research funding, right?
Mm.
So based on that, they can provide scholarship to students who are more eligible for the same. So there'll be range of scholarship that they can apply for, but that they can figure out only once they put in an application and an offer has been made to them. So
Right.
based on that, there could be, sometimes between 10% to 100% scholarship available to the students as well.
Right. And what are the intakes are we looking at for this program?
Right. So for our business based research programs, we have February and July, both the intakes available. However, for our science and engineering programs, there's July intake only. February, we are planning to start. It is in discussion right now, which you never know. For February 2021, we may just open it. So yeah, keep watching that space.
Okay. Now, Zarna, this is a very basic issue that every student has. So, whenever a student comes to us and then wants to talk about the university, whether it's an extension or whether it's a change of program, and then they have this assumption that Macquarie University is a very expensive university and they may not be able to afford this university. So, I wanted to understand what are the kind of scholarship that Macquarie is offering to the students so that it will be a little bit affordable for them to study in universities like Macquarie.
Sure. So, if a student is looking at a coursework program in undergraduate or postgraduate level, there is a scholarship of $10,000 per year available to students coming from certain nationality. Now, that is the way because university have decided to basically balance out the nationality and diversity at the classrooms really, really well. So, we want certain nationalities, students with certain nationalities to come to the university to study even more because they come with that kind of excellent background and caliber that academics love to have them on campus. So, South Asian students, Southeast Asian students, they will stand eligible to get $10,000 per year scholarship, which is called a regional scholarship basically. And then if they are academically brilliant,
Mhm.
absolutely exceptional, they may have a chance to apply for a top of scholarship, which is called Vice Chancellor's International Scholarship. Now, that is very limited and that is very competitive as well. So, students, who are really good at their studies and their background, they can try to apply for it and see if they get one. However, as I just mentioned, the regional scholarship of $10,000 per year that is being offered to each and every student who's eligible to get the offer to study at the university. So to make it simple and I love the simplicity of this particular scholarship that students don't have to apply separately for $10,000 scholarship. When they put in an application for admission, the admissions team will assess their application for scholarship as well, and they will issue the scholarship letter of $10,000 per year along with the full offer letter
Right.
of admission. So that is how it is so simple.
So it's quite simple. If we put in the application, they are eligible to get $10,000 scholarship per year.
That's right.
So that'll make it quite handsome amount of scholarship.
That's right. It is like if they're coming for a 3 year or 4 year undergrad program, that amounts to $30,000 to $40,000
Wow,
scholarship.
wow, that's interesting. So now, Jen, I wanted to understand, are there courses available in Macquarie which offers work integrated learning or say internship as a capstone unit? So that, our students would have more idea that once they are on, so if they're studying with Macquarie University, whether or not they'll get the industry exposure.
Yes, that's again a very good question. So all the programs at Macquarie University on undergraduate level, we have something called PACE unit, which stands for Professional and Community Engagement. Now, PACE unit is basically a kind of internship which is embedded in each and every undergraduate program. So when a student is in the third or fourth year, that is towards the end of the degree, they take a PACE unit, which could be a business internship or a community-based internship, depending on the program or the major that they are studying in undergraduate program. So each and every student before they graduate will have industry-based experience or hands-on practical training work experience in Australia. So that's a very good thing to have, where they have a degree from a university like Macquarie. They have amazingly transferable skill set which they have gained from the university, and they also have practical hands-on work experience. So that's like a full package offer, you can say, a student can have to go into the corporate world. And on postgraduate level, we have something called Global Leadership Program, which is called GLP. Now, this is basically not an internship which is offered to each and every postgraduate student, but they can apply for this internship. So it could be between 2 weeks to 2 months, and it can be in various areas of the industry as well. So they have to apply for it, they have to attend an interview, and then they are selected for the GLP. GLP has also won numerous awards from Australian government for being one of the most interactive, engaging, and rewarding global leadership program in Australia. So postgraduate students can, take an advantage of GLP at the university. And I would say more than 60 to 70% of the postgraduate programs also have embedded work experience or capstone unit in it. So that basically gives them exposure to the industry, not necessarily going to the company and doing an internship over there, but then those corporate partners like the CEOs and MDs of the company come to the classroom to deliver lectures or come with their real-time project which students will work on. So that's also kind of hands-on training which is provided at the university. So it could be a combination of anything together.
Right. Now, this is one of the most famous questions we receive from most of the students, especially students who are based offshore. So what do they ask is, so okay, I invest say 60, $70,000 in my master's or a bachelor's degree. When do I get my ROI? So this is more of what are the graduate outcome and the employability rate of Macquarie graduates. So they want to know when can they rip off the ROI.
Right. So two things which I would want like to mention over here. One is Macquarie University is situated in a very high-tech precinct called Macquarie Corporate Park. So where the university is situated, it is surrounded by corporate park where there are more than 300 to 400 companies who are based on campus or around the campus, I would say. So they sit on Macquarie University's land. So their interaction and partnership with Macquarie University and their academics and their contribution towards the programs very high. It's a highly engaging partnership that the university have, and that is probably one of the reason I would say that Macquarie University has been ranked in top 10 in the world for graduate employability rate by QS Graduate Employability Rankings 2019 and 2020 both. So most of the university graduates find their full-time job within first 6 months of graduation. And that is a fantastic ratio, I would suggest, because not all Australian university have that kind of graduate employability rate.
Right, nice. So now I think we have covered most of the programs, the entry requirements, and the scholarship. Now, to our audiences, who have joined us or who know somebody who would be interested in studying in Macquarie University, you can always share the link. And we are here to give you counseling. You can always come to Aussizz group, and we can help you process your admission. And then I'm very extremely grateful to you, Zarna, to making time for today. And we would hope to see you soon, and we'd be encouraging more of these sessions, more informative sessions for the students, so that they would have more idea coming directly from you. So that way they know what Macquarie University offers and they understand the programs offered by. Thank you so much for coming and joining us today.
Thank you so much, Priyanka, for inviting me. I think it's my pleasure to provide the information which could be helpful to any student or any applicant to really do something in their career and have a really good job later on, which we were talking about as ROI. So thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you, Zarda.